It is 6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans were back on the practice field with a walkthrough yesterday as they get ready for a road matchup against the Houston Texans on Sunday. The first injury report of the week dropped, and J.C. Latham, Bryce Oliver, and Khalil Mullings all did not practice. And Kevin Winston Jr., Kevin Zeitler, and Cam Ward, who's on the injury report for the first time, is listed with an ankle and calf injury. They were all listed as limited participants. In other NFL news, New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll doubled down on his decision to bench quarterback Russell Wilson for quarterback rookie Jackson Dart yesterday, saying that Dart would be the starter for the remainder of the season. The Giants host the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday. Tonight, an AFC West battle as the 2-1 Arizona Cardinals host the 2-1 Seattle Seahawks at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Kickoff at 7:15 p.m. Central, and you can stream it on Amazon Prime Video, or you can hear it right here on 104.5 The Zone, courtesy of Westwood One, starting at 7. And on 3 Sports, Pete Nakos and Chris Lowe reported yesterday that Vols defensive lineman Jackson Moy is expected to return this weekend against Mississippi State. Moy has been sidelined since suffering an upper body injury against Syracuse in the season opener. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Off and running. Away we go on a Thursday morning edition in Music City, USA. Crew's all here. Ramon Foster, Justin Hawkins, and Will Bowling. Brian Callahan attempted to explain it is a decision that he did not make yesterday. It went about as you would expect. You'll hear from him. We'll talk about it. Coach Mack joins the show at 7:20 this morning. Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, previews Tennessee and Mississippi State at 8:20. Plus, Thursday 3 picks against the spread to make you U.S. currency heading into a very big football weekend. 615-737-1045 is the number. Good morning, Ramon Foster. How are we doing?
Hey, what up, Will? Friday Junior, man. Ready to go here. We get closer and closer. Last night, again, because we're not later in the season, no live sports on. Well, football is. I know baseball was going crazy last night, man.
Was it?
Yeah. Big baseball was doing its thing last night. But no football. We hadn't hit in action just yet. Oh, I went and saw our friends yesterday at 3HL. Sat down with them. They were at Twin Peaks and Rivergate.
I heard about that.
Yeah, sat down for a little bit. Last segment it was for him. A lot of questions, the same stuff we're going to talk about today, man. People are back and forth on Cali right now, man, and just the whys and the whats, and nobody has a real answer for what's going on right now with the Jarvis Brownlee situation.
Not ideal.
Not ideal.
And neither is Cam Ward popping up on the Titans injury report.
I saw that
yesterday. Titans had a walkthrough yesterday, Ramon. How normal is that for a Wednesday this early in the season?
Depends on availability. It can be very normal. I've been there before to where we've had walkthrough sessions or take the pads off type of moments like that throughout practice too. There's not many bodies that you have available to you like you do in college, and trying to supplement that with guys that aren't going to start or you're not going to elevate from the practice squad up. It's almost kind of null and void at time because it's work for guys that don't need it. I'd much rather have my starters out there that can potentially work slower, get those reps, get those mental reps in their mind, as opposed to trying to be physical and waste time again. This team has some injuries and just got to stay healthy. This upcoming weekend, also is going to be a very physical for them too.
Limited through the walkthrough, I don't think any major concern, but just the fact that on a Wednesday report, your quarterback is on the injury report is something to monitor, Ramon, and I'm curious how much that impacts the play calling and impacts the game plan for Bo Hardegree's first game as the play caller. Because what have we said all offseason? This year is all about Cam Ward.
Yeah, it is.
And a Wednesday designation is not normally something that really moves the needle for us because these are professional football players who are all battling something. And if there's even just a little something, you've got to put that on the injury report on Wednesdays. And typically it doesn't impact what players feel like or what players do on Sundays. But not everyone is your quarterback.
Right.
And not everyone is your future and your season. Ramon Foster, is this something that you think impacts at all the game plan and the way you protect Cam Ward and get the ball out of his hand when the Titans play the Houston Texans on Sunday.
Yeah, it should. And seeing how he feels going into this weekend, again, he's a quarterback. Not to call him one way or the other, but you really got to see what a quarterback's toughness is. Like, if this is an injury where you feel like you need to keep him in a pocket and not rolling out as much, you absolutely do that, because him having a lingering injury throughout the course of the season is not good for your team. It's not good for his first year out there also, where he can potentially miss more reps. The thing that bothers me about this ankle calf situation is it's too close to guys having the Achilles, right, injury. I don't want to go that far, but like you mentioned ankle calf and it just pops up out of nowhere, that becomes a little bit problematic, at least for the mindset of people. I don't like it unless somebody fell into him. But you do have to protect him a little bit more. May just be handing the football off or in shotgun where he doesn't have to move and roll as much. We don't absolutely know until we see what he's going to look like on Sunday against that type of defense.
Yeah.
They're going to run him. They're going to try to flush him.
Well, and two, like, he was always going to be as challenged in this game as any game he will play all season. On the road, you don't have the benefit of the snap count, silent count in that environment against a desperate Houston Texans team that tees off and gets after the quarterback at an alarming rate for a healthy Titans offensive line. And unfortunately, this is not a healthy Titans offensive line. Kevin Zeitler was limited yesterday. J.C. Latham still did not practice with a hip injury. Khalil Mullings and Bryce Oliver were also out, and Kevin Winston Jr. was limited in addition to Cam. Again, ankle/calf. I think it's a concern because, I mean, again, like, Wednesday injury reports don't mean much, but the fact that it's Cam means a little bit more.
A little bit more.
And the fact that this game is already going to put Cam under duress and under pressure and in harm's way, I think if this impacts at all his ability to get away from Will Anderson Jr. and Daniil Hunter and Sheldon Rankins and Folo Fatukasi and Derek Barnett and Darrell Taylor. I mean, it could go down the list. Like, they've got dudes and they've got depth. That's the thing about Houston that I think even more so, Ramon, than the other teams the Titans have faced. Maybe this isn't the best defensive front they've faced. You could also make the argument that it very much is.
Right.
But I do think you definitely make the argument they are deeper on that defensive front than any team you face so far. If it in any way impacts his way to get out of the pocket, extend plays, and move, that's a concern and something you have to adjust for.
Defensively, they are stopping teams. They are holding teams up. They are getting to the quarterback. You got your two main rushers that have 5 sacks through 3 games throughout the course of this season. Like, absolutely everything that they've been asked to do, they've done. Offensively, it's problematic for them. But again, Will, to your point, they're going to blitz. You're going to see Azeez up the middle. You're going to see their guys get downhill on them and try to force Cam Ward to throw the football. And, Will, inside of NRG is loud. I hope there aren't any false starts for the Titans, right? That's something they've been trying to emphasize moving forward. But it can be problematic, especially if they got him moving around side to side, too. Take this for a grain of salt, I guess, the way you got to go about stuff these days. But Easton Freeze said before anybody goes panicking over Cam Ward being on a report today, don't. I don't know what that means or who he's talked to. But I personally am looking at it sideways and saying I'm a little concerned considering who you're playing this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a concern for, just his overall health today. I think it's more about what's not an issue now that can become one if he takes enough hits on Sunday. That's kind of where I'm at here. Or is he limited at all in terms of his mobility?
Right.
All questions we don't have answers to yet that I imagine we will get Friday when Brian Callahan speaks after the final walkthrough of the week and, maybe gives a little bit more insight. Or maybe he does play a little bit more coy because this is something that could impact the injury report or just the overall strategy going into the game. We did have 2 different people already in the F&M Bank chat this morning, Ramon, say, well, why not just start Brandon Allen? You agree with that?
No, I do not agree with that.
I don't either.
No, absolutely not. It's Wednesday, as we said. It's lightly concerning because he's showing up with a lower body injury. And again, for a guy that's mobile or likes to be mobile in the pocket, Cam's not a runner, but his ability to manipulate the defense and go side to side is his specialty. And the other part of it is this, too. You don't want Cam in a position where he's in a runner's mode and they can let him be hit. And they hit, they turn, they grab, and they twist. We've heard players talk about this. Oh, you got something that's showing up on the injury report? I'm going to see how good it actually is. It's also that part, too. He's got to be careful about how he hits the ground and who he get hit by going into it, too, because guys are going to hit and roll. Like, that's – I hate to say it, but, like, people are saying the exact same thing about players that we've seen here. Like, if Tavondre or Jeff had a situation going on, I'm trying to test it at least to see how healthy you are.
So you want him to have to figure out how to – work around that.
Protect himself.
Yeah, how to protect himself.
It's
part of being a pro.
Out. Yeah, it is. This is also a big adjustment year for Cam. You're not in college anymore. These guys will close out on you really quick, and some hits are allowed whenever it's about taking you to the ground.
Yesterday, Brian Callahan attempted to explain the Jarvis Brownley trade and began his press conference speaking with the media with this.
I know the Brownlee trade is on everybody's mind on top of it. Those are conversations that we have, and Mike and I have all those conversations. We're in lockstep with those decisions that get made, and those are things that are made for the short-term and the long-term interest of the football team, and that's ultimately what it was. There's short-term there, that's part of it, and there's a long-term part of it too that those are the conversations we have. So not more to elaborate on, but those are how those things get made, and that's what we think about when we make them.
So that was the initial statement from Brian Callahan yesterday. Then things got a little bit more interesting after that. We'll play it for you next. 615-737-1045. Live from the 1045 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. You'll hear from the head coach. We'll learn more about the Jarvis Brownley trade coming up next.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation. And if you have old, drafty windows or cheap builder-grade windows, now is the best time to replace your windows. You can protect your home ahead of the fall and winter weather. We're getting a little bit of it right now. It's officially fall if you did not know, but you can get replacement windows from Window Nation. You can get the top quality, energy-efficient windows, and they're from a trusted company at a reasonable price. Here's the thing. Window Nation knows replacing windows is an investment. Trust me, if you've gotten a quote, you know this, man. This is why, Will, they want to make sure it's affordable to you.
They definitely do, Ramona. They've got another big sale going on right now. Save big this month. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, plus an extra 10% off, plus no interest for 2 years. That's a lot of pluses in your pocket and in your wallet. Make no payments for 2 years, and you don't have to deal with those monthly payments, a down payment, or interest until 2027. Window Nation has over 45,000 5-star reviews and A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. You need to give them a call, 866-90NATION, or visit them online at windownation.com. Schedule a fast free estimate now with the pros at Window Nation, online at windownation.com. What's up? It's Will Boulding. I'm here to tell you about my new obsession. A lot of you have mentioned it. A lot of you have tried it. A lot of you have liked it. Daisy French onion dip is exceptional stuff. It's one of my guilty pleasures during the football season. I dip myself to death, whether it's at tailgates, watch parties, or just sitting around the house watching the football, hanging out, watching the golf. This weekend as well, dips with chips, wings, and veggies. It is the best way to enjoy this time of year. It's the best way to snack as well. And Daisy has made it even better for you. This Daisy French onion dip, guys, it's terrific. Justin mentioned trying it with the pretzel sticks. Phenomenal. Daisy ranch dip, total game changer as well. As delicious as a homemade dip. Plus, they're made with real herbs and spices and other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. You got to try it. And the good news is it is around you everywhere. Check out a grocery store around you as you're making your run and stock it up for the weekend. Daisy French onion dip, throw it in the cart and thank me later. That's Daisy French onion dip at a grocery store near you. Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. So, Brian Callahan answered for the Jarvis Brownley trade yesterday after the move was made by the front office, a pick swap. Ramona, I made the comment yesterday that I will reserve judgment, full judgment on this move until we hear more. Well, we heard a little bit more yesterday, and Brian Callahan started by saying we feel good about some of the new players that we have. Here is the Titans head coach meeting with the media.
You know, I think whether it's a lesser role or not, I think the important part is we do have some players there that we feel good about that are starting to play good football for us and getting ingrained in the systems and starting to have a little bit more action. So those guys that we're looking forward to seeing more of too. Got a couple of Marcus Harris is in there, Jalen Armour Davis, Bake's played well for us. So Sneed's playing really good football as well for us on top of it. So we got some guys there that we're excited about.
Do you anticipate that starting spot being taken immediately, or is it going to kind of be a rotational competition for a week or two?
That's the latter, probably more likely. Some competition and some rotation, depending on how the practice goes and how those guys perform. That's part of it. Obviously both Jalen and Bake played last week. That'll probably continue through this week, and we'll see where we get to by game time.
So that's Tennessee Titans head coach Brian Callahan speaking with the media yesterday. Ramon, do you think it is significant at all that the first way that he attempts to explain this trade is by mentioning the new players and honestly the rookie that we haven't seen as much of in Marcus Harris as he begins to give this explanation yesterday?
It seems to me that a cover is laid out a little bit into understanding the why. Like again, with these types of moves, and of course here Jarvis Brownley was a starter. I want to, push it towards the idea that they are trying to accumulate as many draft picks they can. I don't know what he is as far as inside the locker room, although his teammates spoke very highly of him. But the introduction of, like you said, Marcus Harris and Jalen Armour Davis and everybody else that's played well, seems to be they're just trying to cover for the idea that they want to go with their guys. Like that seems to have been the case. I don't think Jarvis was a head case, problematic. Had any kind of issues with his teammates. It seems to me to be a personnel issue of what they want their roster to look like. That's kind of the way I see it. And their guys. Is that how you're seeing this one too?
It is.
It's their guys.
From what we said yesterday, Ramon, and our initial take on this was that the type of Titan that the new regime wants has changed. The fact that was the first way Brian Callahan explained this move yesterday, and based on some of the other stuff you're about to hear, I think confirms what we thought. Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker added 2 young corners in the offseason that they want to see more of. Yeah. Jalen Armour Davis, who they claimed off of waivers from the Baltimore Ravens.
Who was hot in the waivers. I mean, he was highly sought out.
Yeah, the Eagles wanted him too. Multiple teams made claims for Jalen Armour Davis and Marcus Harris, whom you drafted from Cal and drafted on day 3 of the NFL draft. The challenge I still have with that, Ramon, is that you have so many needs in 2026 still at corner. Why couldn't you have done both? That's the question I would love to get answered inside that building that I don't think we still have the answer to yet. Like, okay, you have Jalen Armour Davis and Marcus Harris. I'd also still like to have Jarvis Brownley. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing I'm really curious to learn, Ramon, and just by watching them play. Because, again, I still am challenged to explain this move. I still think, even after what we heard yesterday, it is a surprise. I don't think it lines up with a lot of the philosophies that this organization has put on record about being draft and develop.
Right.
Here's the positive, and here's where I will always attempt to, on this show, at least play devil's advocate and say, here's how this could work, even if I don't think it's the move I would have made. Jalen Armour Davis and Marcus Harris could be ready. Maybe they've seen something in practice. Maybe they feel like, hey, we've got 2 studs here in the practice field. I'm not going to predict it. I'm not trying to spin this and carry water for anybody. I'm simply saying that these guys, and I think these front office executives, and especially Mike Borgonzi, because he's not been here very long, deserves the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
So let's see. Maybe Jalen Armour-Davis and Marcus Harris come in and are improvements. Maybe they don't have as many penalties. I'm always willing to give people the benefit of the doubt for a couple weeks. But even still, Ramon, even if they are still good, I would have liked to have had both and then just be deep at corner.
I feel you. Somebody in the chat before we broke asked the question, what kind of sign does it send to the players inside of the locker room when it comes to how they see this to just have happened out of thin air? And it's essentially what we talked about a little bit yesterday. I never had a GM change or coaching change at all. Like, neither one of those things I had. But I have had position coaches change. Now, the offense essentially stayed the same. You just went with a different voice inside of the room and different demands and different styles is what you went with. My coach, my rookie year, wasn't there in the second year. And then by the time I got to my sixth year, it was Munch. So I had to go through a transition 3 different times, 4 actually, because Munch ended up leaving. But in this, the one thing I remember was having the anxiety of when Coach Kugler came into our locker room, came into our meeting room. I didn't know him. He didn't know me. I didn't know what kind of type of players that he wanted or the guys that he was trying to phase out. Now, I did see this, though. When Munch came in, Munch wanted a smarter, tough, durable player. What I will say is this. You have to recognize who is your bosses in those moments, what they do like, what they don't like, and you need to also produce. The thing that you have, the issue that you have since Jalen Armour-Davis has come in, what kind of production has Jarvis Brownlee had? Jarvis has been in a position where he's been more of a liability and an asset out there, albeit aside from the attitude and what he brings to the game. But again, when you change personnel, it's the same thing that happens in college football, Will. They open up a 30-day window for players to leave whenever a coach gets fired. And that's because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. This, to me, is, again, a situation where I feel like you have to appease to what the GMs want as a player inside of this building, what they want it to look like. I personally think that is the case. No other reason other than the fact that he's not their type. He's also not their draft pick. And this happens. This happens often, more than you know. This is why, like, the amount of quarterbacks that Cleveland has gone through is because you look at the different head coaches and regimes and coordinators they've had. Like, I'm not excusing it. I'm not saying get rid of good players because, we got a new GM coming in. But I do know this. There were players who were drafted here, I think, before Vrabel got here. Jayon. Remember the conversation that Jayon Brown.
Wesley Woodyard, yeah.
Wesley Woodyard told us about he didn't like the way Jayon tackled. He wanted a more tougher, like more fierce, more menacing linebacker type. Jayon wasn't a bad player. He was productive as heck. It blew Wesley Woodyard's mind that Jayon was out soon.
Sure.
But you got to appease the people who are bosses, and that sucks.
But the question that I would have in return then is, like, all right, then why not do this in training camp? If that's the case and you want a different type, why not do this? And maybe still, like, the feeling is that because of what Jalen Armour-Davis and Marcus Harris have shown you, they're readier now than you thought. I don't know. Here's the other challenge of all this, Ramon. Brian Callahan is answering for questions about a move that he didn't make.
That's so true.
And it's not normal for general managers to speak in the middle of the season about late-round pick swap trades. So I understand why Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi didn't speak to the media yesterday. That's not something that's normal procedure for a situation like this. But I do think it puts Brian Callahan in a tricky spot. And it's reasons why head coaches are paid handsomely in situations like this, trying to make sense of something that he didn't do himself. Yeah. Brian Callahan was also asked, was this trade a one-off situation? He responded with this.
No, I don't think so. I think that was a one-off situation, unique to what it was, and Again, those conversations happen as they happen. There's front offices around the league from now until the deadline that call everybody in football, and they all are looking for different things. And so I can't say whether or not there'll be something more or nothing more. It's hard for me to make any predictions about that or take any statements about it. But I think that's always what front offices around the league are doing is trying to figure out if there's players to be had and if there's draft capital to be had, and that's constantly going on.
So then Brian Callahan goes from saying that trade was a one-off situation and unique to then saying, well, this wasn't anything about Jarvis in particular.
Yeah, it wasn't anything about Jarvis in particular. It was more that these are things that we look at from, again, trying to make sure we have the best team to be able to put forward, and then what we have moving forward in the long term. So those are all parts of the conversation.
You mentioned the change in the play calling.
It wasn't anything about Jarvis in particular, but you decided to trade a semi-productive 5th round pick in his 2nd year for a step up from the 7th round to the 6th. So if it wasn't about Jarvis in particular, what was it about?
Again, it's about the short-term and long-term goals. I've already elaborated on it. You're not going to get any more details about the conversation. It is what it is.
Specifically, how is it not about the player?
No, it's always about all of it. All those things factor into the process, whether it's the player, whether it's the fit, whether it's what we think we can get for him, whether it's something that adds to the value of our draft capital. Those are all parts of the conversation, and those are decisions that we make as we talk about them.
Tennessee Titans head coach Brian Callahan. Ramon, you have your head in your hands.
That's hard to stomach. That's hard to stomach. Like, I get why y'all are pissed off as fans.
I do too.
So you're basically telling me it has nothing to do with the player and you're always planning for the future? Like,
but then you say it's a one-off situation.
But then are
2
you
minutes
also
before that?
And to add to that, are you also telling me you're already planning for the draft? Like, and I know you always are, but like an in-season move shouldn't be planning for the draft already to move up from a 7th to a 6th round pick. Like I say, he wasn't great. He wasn't perfect. But this really feels like a bulldozer through a house type of situation. Like, you're like, all right, we were fine, and you just ripping up floors for no particular reason. Like, I get you got some money, but like, we don't have to get new floors right now. That's what this feels like. Like it seems to be because they threw him to the wolves like that yesterday, and those guys are good in that room to ask those types of questions. He wasn't either on board or fully informed about the why this decision was made. This doesn't seem like a Callahan decision at all. They told him what he needed to know and said he's not going to elaborate any further.
And I don't blame Brian. I don't know if there's really even like a way that he could have explained this that would have made total sense. Like, it just feels like one of those situations where head coaches of the NFL are routinely trotted out there to answer for things they didn't do. And it's they're paid well to do it, and it's a part of the job. But unfortunately, yeah, this is one of the parts of the job that is very challenging.
It is.
For Brian Callahan.
This also shows how much of a separation that they want to have or they've created between front office, between Chad and Mike and the coaching staff. That's also what it shows to me, too. It's just like, well, what if the coaches liked that player? You know, like, it's those type of situations. And I also bring up now, and it may have been because John Ojukwu knew the offense. I'm still not over the fact that in week 2, Oli Udoh was on your 53-man roster, and you brought up a practice squad guy to start in the game for him. That, again, another one of those moments where you say, well, why did you put Oli Udoh on the active roster? Whose decision was it to put John Ojukwu on practice squad if you were going to start him? I'd be pissed if I was John Ojukwu.
Or Oli Udoh.
Or Oli Udoh. Both of them. Like, this is way too many problems for this early in the season, the way I look at that. Like, as a player, like, after hearing Callahan, I heard it yesterday, but it hits a little bit harder this morning. After hearing Callie say this as a player, I mean, you're never safe, but I wouldn't feel like it was in me to overly sell out for a team that does something like this. I'm going to go do my job because my tape is my resume. My tape is what my reputation is. But when it comes down to you doing the extra for the team, as a player, you're a worker already. And yes, you're highly compensated. I know for the people you paid millions. Yeah, but in this, I'm doing this with my, because of the love of it. When you have this type of stuff right here that happens, it takes that love and want to and drive out of it. Well, I'm going to just collect my check anyway is the way I look at this situation. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make you feel wanted. And especially if the moves that are being made aren't because of the coaching staff and my play.
Right.
And it's because somebody just don't like the type of player that you are. That's a rough place to be at.
I think it's especially challenging because this rebuild has I don't want to say kicked the can down the road, but this rebuild hasn't fully addressed the edge rusher and pass rush specialists yet, as much as I know they would like to. I mean, it's one of those situations where we knew they couldn't fix everything in one offseason. And it's not, I don't think, being overly critical of anyone to say that the reality is you weren't able to address edge rusher and pass rush as much as you needed to, or as much as you even probably should have this offseason, which puts added stress on a secondary, which is now thinner than it was a week ago. That's the struggle for me, is that you could stomach this if you feel like you were getting out after the passer at a high enough rate to take some pressure off of that secondary. But that's a secondary that's already very stressed and very pushed and needs depth, and you have less of it. So we're going to see how Marcus Harris and Jalen Armour-Davis look.
Is that part? They
could go on the field and look excellent, and maybe they've seen something in practice. Again, I'm trying here, guys.
I know.
I genuinely am I try to be a positive person, and I try to find the way out of all of this. Ramon, I think every positive you could possibly give to come out of this, of you're going to play younger players. You love this draft class, so maybe Marcus Harris is ready. Maybe Jalen Armour-Davis this and that. All of it comes with the caveat of yeah, but. And there's two big yeah, buts in this for me, Ramon. It's the yeah, but you should have gotten more for Brownlee, because a 6th to 7th swap is not a lot of value for a young, controllable second-year corner who is starting. And the other but is I'd love to have a good young corner, Marcus Harris, and a guy that dropped in our lap in Jalen Armour-Davis, and I'd also still like to have Jarvis Brownley. So that's where we're at.
Can I throw one more and in there for you?
You may.
And Jalen Armour-Davis, since November 26, 2022, has been injury-riddled, too.
That's right.
The 26th put on injury reserve. The 30th, he was on IR again. I mean, this is all the way through. In 2024, early September, he went to IR. He was activated on the 26th of October, so small-time IR. And then January 2023, the Ravens put him on IR again.
They feel like they have a plan to keep him healthy. Jalen Armour-Davis has said that.
But that's two players now.
Yeah, it is.
That's him and Sneed.
No, it is. It is, because we're saying the same thing about Legarius. So we'll see. They had time to prove themselves. Obviously, there's a lot of football left to be played to give us answers to a lot of questions we don't have answers to. And again, it's challenging to really wrap your head around something that from the surface looks so confusing and so surprising without knowing with truth serum what the decision makers are trying to do. But obviously, Ramon, that's not something we're going to get mid-season, something we might never get, of why they really did this. So we're going to see how Jarvis plays in New York. We'll see how much he is relied upon there. We'll learn how much Jalen Armour-Davis and Marcus Harris can handle here, and maybe works out. But I don't feel much better about it today than I did yesterday. Maybe that changes. As of right now, it's not at the present moment. Let's go to Rue up first on the phones this morning. What's up, Rue?
Morning, Rue.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Hey,
Morning.
First of all, I appreciate both of you. Moan, what's up? Will, what's up?
Morning.
I just want to talk about the disconnect between management and coaching.
Yeah.
There's a total disconnect going around the NFL, period. We've seen it in Dallas with Schottenheimer and Jerry. We're seeing it now with Callahan and Miss Amy, and Mike Boganzi and Chad Brinker. Management has to do something. Management is kind of hanging on our team to dry. We have to look at it from a business standpoint. We got employees on the field, and they're ill-prepared. And it's not just Callahan's fault, people. This is management's fault. This is not necessarily Miss Amy. It's everybody up front, the front office. I'm just as mad and PO'd as Moan is, and I know it makes Moan sick to his stomach, because Moan played this game.
Yeah.
It's disheartening. And everything you two set up every morning and have been speaking on for the past month since this began is 110% true. And I'm going to tell you, as a fan of the game, not just of the Titans, but of the game, Coach Rue appreciates it. And I'm going to sit back and listen.
Thank you, Rue. Appreciate the call.
Coach, that gave me chills, you talking like that, man. That settled me on down this morning.
I understand the frustration. I understand where fans are coming from with that. Totally. I hope it gets better soon. It might. It might not. We're going to find out. We got a lot of season left to play to see what they can do to, try to ascend a little bit. But I understand the call. I understand the point of view.
You got to slow talk this one, Will, for real.
You do. I mean, again, like I try to be a person that looks on the bright side and says, how can this work just in life versus how can this not work?
Yeah.
And we're going to find out, aren't we? Justin on Facebook Live says it's 100% the most Titans thing ever for them to go into Houston on Sunday and win their first game of the season. I mean, they did last year. It's exactly what they did against the Texans when nobody expected it. And look, that's what it's going to take at some point. Like, it's going to take them going into a matchup where we feel like they're overmatched and we feel like vibes are low, where something clicks and they figure out who they are and they win a football game. Question is, how many of those can they string together to ascend the overall stock of Titans football? To put an identity together week over week. Because this league is built for teams like Cleveland to win against Green Bay.
Yeah.
For teams like Miami to go to Buffalo and be one blocked kick away from maybe beating Buffalo and being close. Like, this league is built for parity and to be close, even when the good teams play the teams that are not so good.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see. We're going to see what they can do. 615-737-1045. We'll get to Tristan on the phones coming up next. More of your phone calls, 615-737-1045. Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, 1045 The Zone.
I love living in Middle Tennessee. We've got great restaurants, entertainment, sports, and one of the nation's top Ford dealers right here in our backyard. Two Rivers Ford. Remember that name. Two Rivers has been a staple in our community since 1983. They're locally owned. They have a non-commissioned sales team, and they sell below MSRP. They've been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone, fueled by Scooters Coffee, wrapping up the opening hour of your Thursday. We treat it like Friday Junior here on the show. We go to the phones with your thoughts of the Jarvis Brownley trade and on the Titans. Tristan leads us off. What's up, Tristan?
Thank you for taking my call. I think the whole thing is Chad Brinker, Mike Bergonzi, Brian Callahan is just right in the middle of this. And the draft, we drafted some players, but if we just peel off the Band-Aid, like Cam Ward is just there for probably 2 years, and we draft like the quarterback class of 2027 and 2026 because this season is toast if we're trading away our players. Jarvis Brownley Jr., who was a great quarterback.
Appreciate it, Tristan.
Thank you, Tristan. Appreciate the call. I mean, the only reason why you're trading your players is to make things easier for Cam Ward in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Ward's not going anywhere.
Right.
And I think Cam has shown you enough to give you real hope and promise that he's the guy. Now, you got to build a lot on that, but I don't think there's any concern that Cam is going anywhere. I think the concern, I guess, would be, Ramon, that does Cam's overall level and potential get dragged down by the change and instability around him? That would be my biggest concern on him.
Well, I guess if Jalen Armour-Davis doesn't perform well, there's going to be a red flag there because the defense can't stop anybody and can the offense score? Like, directly it hadn't affected him, the way we need to see it. His issue is that he's got to find somebody to protect him on the right side of the football, too.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's his biggest issue right now. I'm with you, though. Like, this type of stuff is very questionable.
Eric is in Franklin. Up next. Hey, Eric.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
I really do think, I know I'm a Titans fan all the way. Hear me out. Y'all ain't going to like this morning. I really do think it's time to trade everything we can get to get more draft picks, all right? And then we got to build around Cam. He needs more pieces that will not drop the ball. I'm tired of seeing it every Sunday. Freaking wide receivers drop the ball when it hits them right in the chest. We got a great quarterback. I'm pumped for him. But we just got to get more pieces, trade everybody we can off, get more cap space, and hit it running next season. This season is, I'm going to go say it, is over. I'll tell you, I love listening to every morning. Y'all have a great day.
You too, Eric.
Appreciate the call.
Over. Eric? So we're okay with, just to ask the question again, we're good with losing the rest of the season. I should have probably asked Eric that, but we're not interviewing him. But are we okay with losing the rest of the season?
I mean, I'm not, but
right.
I think it's a tricky spot to be in because you need players that are over the next 5 years, you feel like ascending into their prime with Cam Ward. But if you feel like there are players who are not going to help you long-term relative to the value you could get to strike while the iron's hot near the trade deadline, then yeah, we're going to have some more difficult conversations. The closer we get to that point, does, someone make you an offer you can't refuse for the betterment of your franchise moving forward and to help get Cam more weapons? I mean, a lot of stuff's going to be on the table as this season continues. I'm not quite at the season is over point yet. Just because I think that this season has a different vibe to it overall anyway, Ramon, based off of developing your quarterback. Because what you can't do is sell off pieces that make it harder for Cam Ward to learn and develop and grow.
Agree. Like,
someone may try to make you an offer you can't refuse for, let's just say, for example, Kevin Zeitler or Calvin Ridley.
Peter Skoronski.
Skoronski is an absolute no-go.
I know.
Skoronski's going to be here for a long time.
Do we know that?
Yes.
Okay.
Skoronski is one of the good, young, controllable players on rookie contracts that you have.
Yeah.
You don't move that guy.
Jeff?
That's a different conversation that we'll get to in a minute. But right. I'm talking about specifically first on offense, Ramon. You can't do things that make it harder for Cam to get better. Just at the expense of, well, what can we get him down the road in the future? That's going to be the difficult balance they've got to walk.
No, I agree with you. You want to actually be adding to his development is what you're saying.
Yeah, because I want Cam. Like, here's the thing. I don't want to lose games in 2025. A, because I just never want to lose games because I love the team, and I don't think it's ever a good idea to want your team to lose. But B, I want Cam to go on some game-winning drives. I want Cam to learn how to win a football game. Yeah. I want Cam to feel like the work that he's putting in matters and is working, and there is a formula for him to be successful. I want something to click with him in game settings to say, hey, in 2027, when the new stadium opens, I can think back to my first game-winning drive back in 2025 when nobody counted on us to beat the Chiefs at home. We went and beat the Chiefs. Like, the best experience in this league is just playing football.
Yes, it is.
And as much as we put stock into, like, I want to see these guys in preseason, and I want to see the joint practice, and da-da-da. No, give Cam one more drive. He's got drives now. There are valuable lessons that need to be learned now.
Yes.
So, yes, while you want to plan for the future and get additional draft capital that allows you to go draft Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State or Reuben Bain Jr. from Miami, sure. I also want Cam Ward to get better. And you can't do one thing at the expense of the other.
The other part of this is, too, no matter where you're picking, especially if you're a good team, it's on the front office to hit those players that they want to match with this team, too. I think we put way too much stock in picking like top 5, number 1 overall. There's a lot of busts in the top 10 every single year. Mm-hmm. It's on them to pick the right players, too. So, to your point, you shouldn't be sacrificing losses just to get higher picks. You should be going for quality picks in general.
Coming up, we'll get Ramon's keys for Tennessee and Mississippi State, a major pivot point for Tennessee in the college football season. If Tennessee is going to be a playoff team, I feel like they got to win Saturday. How do they do it? Amongst all the cowbells in Starkville, we'll get Ramon's take on that next. Plus, more of your phone calls to the Titans before Coach Mack at 7:20 as Hour 2 of Ramon and Will begins after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Prince's Hot Chicken, man. The original hot chicken. I had a conversation with one of my young football players yesterday. He was like, hey, tell me about Prince. I was like, what? You don't know about the original hot chicken? I was like, do you like hot chicken? He's like, yes, sir. I said, the reason you have it is because of Prince's. That's why I'm telling you guys, hit up one of the numerous locations, man, around the city. On Nolensville Pike, off Broadway, also at the Tanger Outlets. And if you're coming in and out of this city, they're at the airport between concourses C and D. Don't ask me how I know because I've stopped there. Okay, simply put. One thing they are doing, too, of the numerous things they have going on, they're catering from 15 people up to 1,000 plus. So no party size is too large for them. They can customize anything from your high-end event to your tailgating event. Prince's Hot Chicken has you covered. They also have vegan and vegetarian options too, like the portobello wraps, chickpea salad sandwiches, and so many more. You can get any flavor you want. You can go plain Jane if you want to. Somebody laughed at me the other day, but I stop at the light mild. I don't want to go too much higher than that. But they have heat all the way up to 3X on there. 3X hot, man. Again, Prince's, the original hot chicken. Get to one of the numerous locations and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
What's up? It's Will Bowling. I want to tell you about my new obsession. Daisy French onion dip is terrific. In fact, we literally had someone in our chat this morning say they're so stressed, they might just go ahead and start eating Daisy French onion dip to start the day. That's where you're at. Stress eating with chips, with dips, with wings, whatever your dip of preference is, you need to push it to the side, and you need to make Daisy French onion dip your dip of choice this football season. Daisy's come out with this stuff, a Daisy French onion dip and Daisy ranch dip that are a complete game changer. They're versatile. Guys, the veggies that you're broiling in the oven, maybe it's the wings that you popped in the air fryer, an easy meal for football season. All of it is going to dip perfectly in Daisy French onion dip. The best part, they taste like a homemade dip. Daisy French onion dip is made with real herbs and spices, plus other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. So make sure you've got some for the upcoming sports weekend. At a grocery store near you, they've got it. Check it out. Daisy French onion dip at a grocery store near you.
It is 7:01. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans were back on the practice field yesterday for a walkthrough as they get ready for a road match against the Houston Texans coming up on Sunday. The first injury report of the week dropped, and J.C. Latham, Bryce Oliver, and Khalil Mullings all did not practice. And Kevin Winston Jr., Kevin Zeitler, and Cam Ward, who's on the injury report for the first time as he's listed with an ankle/calf injury, all were listed as limited participants. In other NFL news, the New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll doubled down on his decision to bench quarterback Russell Wilson for rookie quarterback Jackson Dart yesterday, saying that Dart would be the starter for the remainder of the season. The Giants host the Los Angeles Chargers this Sunday. Tonight, an AFC West battle as the 2-1 Arizona Cardinals host the 2-1 Seattle Seahawks at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Kickoff at 7:15 p.m. Central, and you can stream it on Amazon Prime Video, or you can hear it right here on 104.5 The Zone, courtesy of Westwood One, coverage starting at 7 p.m. And on 3 Sports, Pete Nakos and Chris Lowe reported yesterday that Vols defensive lineman Jackson Moy is expected to return this weekend against Mississippi State. Moy has been sidelined since suffering an upper body injury week 1 against Syracuse in the season opener. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Seven a.m. hour 2 here already. It's a fast opening 60 minutes here on Ramon and Will. Thursday morning edition, fueled by Scooter's Coffee as always. Ramon popped in here after a break. He's like, man, you already brewed a pot. It's like, it smells fantastic in here. That's because it is the smell of caramelicious Scooter's Coffee. Again, you might hear that and think like, but Will, I like black coffee. I don't like sugary, sweet stuff. I like my caffeine, like to get in, get out. It's business, not pleasure. Well, you're in luck. I'm drinking this black. There's no sugar in it. It's not overly syrupy sweet. It's the perfect blends of caramel with just black coffee. Oh. The way we like to drink our coffee in the mornings. They are in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. We love partnering with people we like, with people that have great products, great things that we would enjoy, even if they weren't sponsors and partners of the show. We love Scooter's Coffee.
Yeah, we do.
They bring us to you every single morning here on the program.
See if I can get something tomorrow before going to Mississippi.
There you go. Yeah. Down to Starkville, where Tennessee will take on the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, who Ramon Foster are undefeated. What's Tennessee got to do in this game? What is the key for the Vols to get the win in Stark Vegas?
Take what's there and control the ball. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. It'll be fascinating to watch this Tennessee defense go against a similar offense that they practice up against at times. And I think the other part for me is this, too. Don't act too familiar about this offense. There will be different variations that the Vols defense have to see and adjust to that Mississippi State is going to try to do to them, too. They're going to play with pace. They're going to get to the ball as quick as they possibly can. But don't act like you know these plays is what I would say. You can get too sure sometimes as players and say, well, I know this, and then next thing you know, you're burnt. Lastly, for me, it's going to be controlling the line of scrimmage. I think this Mississippi State defensive line is prime for the taking. What I say is, Vols fans, we may be expecting a high-flying offensive duel with this team. I would say this, looking at this tape, I do just think the Vols are better. I do. I'm hoping this isn't the hangover they have, the game, right? And I think our offensive line should absolutely body Mississippi State.
I think it's that part of the game that gives me a little bit more optimism about Tennessee avoiding the letdown game they kind of feel like they always have on the road a little bit. If you are at the physicality level of Georgia in Neyland Stadium in a game that you've narrowly lost, was that a game you got up for and played at your very best for one Saturday at home? Or is that who you are as a team? I think we get the answer to that question, Ramon, on Saturday to say, can Tennessee be the type of team that physically imposes its will on a less talented roster outside of their building? Because if so, Tennessee is a college football playoff team. If not, I think they're going to struggle with some of the same issues that plagued them last season, where you're relying a lot on the pass game when you can't knock guys off the ball, and against good teams who can move the ball against you a little bit, against a defense that's not as good as it was last year. Can you get to your number, consistently on the road when you don't have the benefit of the snap count and you've got rushers that are coming after you a little bit more quickly? That was the issue at Arkansas last year. An Arkansas team that should not have been more physical than Tennessee was. And you made too many mistakes. You got behind the sticks too much. You weren't able to win that one. I think for me, Ramon, it's 3rd and 4th down that end up making the difference in this game, because that's something that Mississippi State is decent at on both sides of the ball. Situationally, Jeff Levy's got a good thing going this year. So Mississippi State is +5 in the turnover battle. They've only turned the ball over twice this year with veteran quarterback Blake Shapen. 48% conversion on 3rd downs, 75% on 4th downs over 8 tries. I'm no math major, but that's 6 of 8. Ramon, they have converted on 4th down. Here's where I think this game changes for Tennessee. And we remember 2022, Tennessee went to Baton Rouge. And LSU came into that game. Obviously, Tennessee won it by a lot. So I hope that this is the case again this year. LSU was going for it on 4th down of the opening drive. There are teams that will go for it on 4th down of the opening drive against Tennessee, knowing that they are behind the 8 ball. Yeah. I think this is one of those games. Mississippi State has to be aggressive. They know they're not winning this game with field goals. They're winning it with touchdowns. Can you get off the field on 3rd and 4th down on 4th and 5? I think that is consistently the question Tennessee's got to answer.
And right now, Mississippi State is also using freshman quarterback Camario Taylor on those 3rd and 4th down situations. I just looked at a play. You was wondering what my eyes were doing right there against Northern Illinois, who, again, challenged them. I just don't think they had
Notre Dame last year.
Yeah, Illinois. I just don't think they had enough firepower for what they were doing to him, or the pace, too. Camario Taylor simply took the ball, looks like Cam Newton, and got downhill and ran over a linebacker. Like, they have plans for him. In that last game against Northern Illinois, he has 3 rushes for 26 yards. Like, he is a weapon for them that they use on 3rd and 4th down situations also.
He's the future there.
Yeah, something to keep your eye on this upcoming weekend, to your point about getting off the field.
Right.
They have to.
And then on the other side, too, I mean, the Bulldogs' defense has forced 7 turnovers, 5 interceptions, 2 fumbles. It's the reason why they beat Arizona State, their ability to create turnovers. They've held teams to 31% on 3rd down, 6 of 9 in the red zone, with only 4 touchdowns. Mississippi State has half of its sacks of all of last season. This defense, Ramon, had 10 sacks all of last year. They have 5 already this year.
Another thing, too, is something we need to take advantage of with them. They're highly penalized also. Have to take advantage of that. And Vols fans, if you are traveling down, I got one ask. I won't ask y'all for much. I promise y'all. We're going to get to these phone calls. I got one ask for y'all. Go to the store to Tractor Supply and buy you a cowbell, too. Bring one. Paint it black. Paint it orange. Okay, bring one. All right, when they're on offense, yeah, who gonna stop them? We need to do this. I'm so serious. We need to hear the clanging of the bells. Do you hear me? I don't have many asks for y'all. It's my job to deliver to y'all what I'm seeing, through your ears. I only ask that y'all bring cowbells too. Why not fight fire? What fire here, Will? That's the only ask I got, man. Please and thank you. I love you all.
I love it. Let's go back to the phones. Talking Titans this morning, 615-737-1045. Henry is in Lebanon up next. What's up, Henry?
What's up, Henry?
Good morning, Ramon. Good morning, Will.
Morning.
Man, I heard a caller on Reaction Monday. He gave his opinion of Coach Brian Callahan. Ramon, you weren't on the same side of the fence with him. Here we are later in the week. He's released his play calling to Bo Hardegree.
Mm-hmm.
The head office is making decisions. It doesn't seem like he's really a part of them. I pose this question to you, Ramon. Can we call Coach Brian Callahan a beta now?
Thank you, Henry.
Henry, one thing I'm not going to do is question a man's integrity on calling him a beta like that. Like, that is such a... You never know what a person will do to you. Maybe he's acting nice because you don't want to see the other side of him. That's one of them things that you just don't do. Like, I'm going to have to kick y'all behind if you go that route. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's not fair.
It's
not fair at all.
It's one thing to be a worker. It's one thing to just be a fake attitude guy. I hate the fake attitude guy, though, too. Like, that's my thing. Like, don't tell me how tough you are. Show me how tough you are. This man is a coach with clean fingernails, okay? Like, all of them. All 32. All 64 of them. Clean fingernails. All 96 of them when it comes down to offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, and head coaches. These dudes ain't out here like you are, digging ditches or, you know what I'm saying, doing labor. Like, a coach can act tough. I ask you this, is Andy Reid acting tough? Right? Is Pete Carroll acting tough? These are Super Bowl winning coaches. Mike Tomlin doesn't act tough. He does his job. Bill Belichick didn't act tough. He's getting friggin' ran around by his 24-year-old girlfriend right now. Like, these are the things that we look for because we have the optics of what we want a situation to be. I've known some tough, mean coaches that suck. You consider them alphas? Yeah. I consider Brian Callahan probably handcuffed, probably outside of his mind with some of the decision that he's done at times. But, like, that one is, man, go to that man's face and call him that. That's what I would ask to you.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair.
That just ain't fair.
You can be critical of the coach. I think that's a little too personal.
Henry, I know your point that you're making. I absolutely think it's hilarious. I do think it's funny. I do think it's funny calling somebody that. But go to their face and say that is what I would say to you.
Jordan is up next. What's up, Jordan?
What's going on, Will Ramon?
Morning.
What's going on? Good morning.
Hey, couple questions. So I'm very concerned with J.C. Latham. I just want to get your take on, do you think this hip injury is going to linger? And that goes into Cam Ward. He popped up on the injury report, and it is concerning. What are you guys' thoughts on that? And you think he'll be back soon and ready to go?
Thank you, Jordan.
All right, for sure.
Hip/groin thing, Ramon. How big of a concern is that?
It'd be very problematic because you got to treat it almost like, the way I look at it is like a hamstring issue.
Yeah.
You're not going to know if it's really going to pull or hit a stinging point again unless you really push it. To me, this situation is like a pulled hamstring.
Yeah, he's frustrated.
It's going to take time.
I think JC envisioned this being a blip on the radar, and it turned into something he did not expect in Denver. And I don't think he was ever really 100% in Denver and thought that he would be, or thought he'd be closer. He's really frustrated and itching to get back out there, and as he should be. I mean, the Titans remade this offensive line to protect Cam, and they haven't been able to so far.
Yeah, no.
Ricky in Nashville gets the last call before we get to Coach Mack on the other side. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I just want to touch on a couple of things. As far as, like, Jarvis Brownlee, it's like everybody's got their pitchforks out. You know, they want to call him, you know, this great player or whatever, you know, just because we dumped him and everything, and which, you know, he's not bad. But it's like everybody wants Brian to throw him under the bus and say, oh, well, you know, and name him personally, like, oh, he's the bad guy or whatever, and they're not satisfied because he hasn't. I look at it like, you know, I like that about him, you know, that he wasn't just immediately trying to just, oh, you know, he's the bad guy. We're better than him or whatever. And so I don't really see why he's getting flack with that. But I think the most telling part about it was, you know, the presser with Denard saying that the guys who are committing penalties and hurting the team overall are going to be on the bench. And then within that same, like, day or two, we had the loss, and then there's Jarvis, you know, with the media saying, oh, no, you know, I'm not changing anything, and being really nonchalant. And that was just the straw. You know, they're like, no, we're not having that attitude here. You're either going to get with the program, you know, or you're not better than the program.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with that. And as far as, like, this season, I'm pretty much done with it as far as just, you know, thinking we're going to go somewhere. I'm embracing the rebuild. You know what I mean? I think that we're not competitive. I don't think we need to be trying to be competitive just to appease, you know, the crowd. It's part of football. You know what I mean? So we've already got the most cap space next year. I think Bergonzi's going to be smart with that, you know, and be a little bit more selective, hopefully, on where he spends that money on, maybe, you know, keeping the good guys around and then just drafting more good guys. You know what I mean?
Hey, thank you, Ricky. We appreciate the call. We do have to move on because we got Coach Mack coming up. We're a little late getting to him, but I get it. Appreciate the call. I think a lot of people feel the same way. All right, Coach Mack Coming up next.
Around here, everybody knows Genesis Diamonds is the go-to place when it comes to jewelry, especially bridal jewelry. Genesis owns the engagement ring market here, with couples driving for hours to take advantage of their no middleman diamond prices and their exclusive designer ring styles. No other store, online or in person, can give you the selection that Genesis can. No matter what style or look she wants, no matter how big of a diamond she wants, or what shape, or whether it's natural or lab grown, Genesis has it. And at Genesis, there's no pressure, no corporate playbook, no Wall Street sales quota to meet. The trusted experts at Genesis are also not on commission. They are there to listen, to help you, to guide, to help you max out your budget, whether you have $3,000 to spend or $300,000. But don't forget this: in addition to being the leader in engagement rings, Genesis is also where you will find the finest fashion jewelry from the top designers: earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, necklaces, and colored gemstones. And if you've always wanted a Rolex, Genesis has a mind-blowing selection of pristine, luxury, pre-owned Rolex watches for both men and women. Genesis Diamonds, hands down, is the best, with the transparency you want, the respect you deserve, and the value you want also. Learn more at genesisdiamonds.com.
Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone, fueled by Scooters Coffee, continues in hour 2 on this Thursday morning. With 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling, joined this morning, as we are every Thursday at 7:20, by Coach Dave McGinnis of Titans Radio. Mac, how we doing? Good morning.
Hey, Will. Hey, Ramon. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mac, looking forward to heading to Houston and looking forward to a great football weekend as well with the games we got Saturday. I'm told like the best fajitas in the world are in Houston. You guys know Houston very well, Mac, and I know that crowd will be amped up and desperate for their team to get a win on Sunday.
Yeah, well, you got 2-0-3 teams, that are playing, and really your record when you start playing these division games, you guys know as well as I do. I mean, it's a week-to-week league that you're living in. Now, once you start, you're losing ball games, it kind of compounds the urgency to get a win. So both of them will, and then plus, there's always that little special twinge when it's Houston, as you guys well know. I mean, you both have experienced that, your time here in Nashville, as I have too. So. But yeah, I mean it's a big ball game. Both teams have their issues. Their issues are different, but they're similar in the fact that neither one of them has won a ball game yet, and that's a place that's very frustrating for anybody in this league.
So, Mac, when you look at this Houston team, and I want to start with the Texans on offense, and new offensive coordinator Nick Caley coming in for Bobby Slowick, are there any big differences in terms of what they are trying to do on offense that you see, and why do you think they have struggled and are 32nd in the league in scoring offense heading into Week 4?
They can't get their offensive line settled. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, you know how much time I spend studying opponents. That's really all I spend my time doing. Once the Titans game is over with, I look for the next opponent, then go to work on them. And they're not settled in the offensive line. I mean, they've had issues. They've been alternating guards. I mean, they're not settled. They're not settled there. They still have got some skill players. And again, I don't really believe that the quarterback is just completely fallen off the shelf. But I mean, as we all know, and you got a guy sitting right there that can even speak better to this. When your offensive line is not settled in this league, because it all starts up front, both offensively and defensively, that's been their issue. And the reason they played in one-score games is they're playing elite defense right now, elite pressure defense, elite scoring defense, but their offense is just not scoring.
Mac, how has Will Anderson Jr. evolved his game? And what did you know about him? And what impressed you about him in the draft? And where has he built on those strengths to become one of the best edge rushers in the NFL?
Well, he's an instant get-off guy, which is extremely, extremely important. I mean, those, matter of just seconds, and really fractions of seconds really matter in the pass rush. But most of it starts with guys that have, extreme get-off, and then they're able to do something before it even starts, because the offensive tackles that play against him, and Ramon can speak to this, you start looking at tape, I mean, you're so worried about the speed to power coming off the edge that you're really a little bit unsettled, and then you get behind the chains. Again, we talk about this a lot, but it's just the truth. Against rushers like that, where all they've got to do, they don't have to worry about playing the run on the snap of the football, but his get-off is really, really extreme, but he's also very, very, very competitive at the top of the rush, and he's a relentless type of a dude. He and Hunter both, I mean, they've got dudes that can bring the heat. And again, as I say, that's why they're defensively, they're keeping their football team in these one-score games, but those two edge guys are a huge part of it.
Coach Mack, the other side of that, stand on the defensive side of the ball, is the young wide receivers, and Calvin really definitely still have their hands filled this week because you mentioned Derek Stingley Jr. is one of those guys, and on the other side, Kamari Lassiter. Those two guys have been playing good ball, or at least the reputation of Derek Stingley Jr. is still to be had, considering how he can lock down your number one wide receiver.
Yeah, Ramon, I really think Derek Stingley Jr. is one of the better corners in the league, just overall consistency. I mean, he really is. And the thing that you notice about him is he's pretty unflappable out there, and he's a guy that is really very, very technique sound. But when he, guys that are technique sound, that are willing to take chances, those are guys that are very, very dangerous. But he plays within that scheme really, really well. And I agree with you. I think he's one of the top corners in the league, down in and down out. And again, as I said, that defense that they've got is what's keeping them close in ball games right now.
Oh, most definitely is, Coach Mack. And on the other side of the ball, too, the quarterback, C.J. Stroud, Coach Mack, just looking at his pathway, he's changed offensive coordinators. He seems to be in purgatory as far as whether he want to grow up or actually go backwards, Coach Mack. What does his play look like to you as he's getting flushed out of the pocket? I think he's better from the pocket instead of on the run, making plays down the field. And he's got weapons, but he seems to be scattered as far as his growth right now as a young quarterback in this league, Coach Mack. What have you seen from him?
Well, I think, again, it starts, with the offensive line problem, and it starts with, whenever that happens. And again, I don't know C.J. Stroud as a person. I just know that structurally, young quarterbacks, especially if they're having protection issues, the first thing they try to do is forfeit, to try to take it all on themselves, and you just can't do that. You really just you can't do it all. And when you start going outside the structure, and really, you know the term, it's not only quarterbacks, it's all kind of players that you start trying to play out over your skis on every snap. That sooner or later you're going to get yourself in trouble, but it always has. There's always a reason. And again, as I say, I'm not down there. I don't know the player personally, but just watching him, you can tell that sometimes the unsettled part of that offensive line has bothered him.
Coach Mack at Titans Radio, our guest, presented by our friends at Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Mack, with the Jarvis Brownley trade, Brian Callahan mentioned yesterday that this staff likes Jalen Armour-Davis. They also want to see a little bit more of the rookie and Marcus Harris, and you expect Armour-Davis to be a bigger part of just being next man up this weekend, Mack, against the Houston Texans. What have you noticed about Armour-Davis, and maybe for those fans that aren't as familiar with him since he is so new, what is his skill set as a corner? What is something different he will bring to the table?
Well, I mean, what you're looking for is consistency. That's what you're looking for. You can never predict exactly what's going to happen, and as I say, it just if you get a chance to play, and because whether a guy is traded or is bumped out of the spot that you're given to, regardless of who you are, he just gets another chance. You get a chance, and that's that's what I would think that any competitive professional athlete's looking for. I know. He's been around it too long, and he's got the skill set to play. What you're looking for is some consistency out there, and so we'll see how this works out for him.
Coach Mack of Titans Radio, our guest. Mack, when you talk about a defense that struggled in tackling last week, Brian Callahan said a lot of our issues stopping the run have just been getting guys on the ground. How in season can you go about coaching that or trying to just improve the overall physicality and ability to get guys on the ground at this time of year?
Well, it involves everybody. But here's the thing, and you reach this stage in a career. Now, I've just been involved with defense in this league for a long, long time. First of all, you've got to be able to tackle to get a chance to come into this league. You can't play without it. But if you have trouble tackling, but it becomes infectious with a group, you've got a big problem, especially there in the back end. I mean, we just saw the one run, by Taylor in that last ball game, 5 missed tackles on one play. That should have been a 5 or 6 yard gain. I mean, that's an issue that as a group you have to collectively decide that you're going to concentrate and work on it. And the other thing that you have to do, tackling, for defense is like blocking for offense. I mean, it's a constant down-to-down mental issue, and if you just start being a little bit lax at any point of it, it causes problems. And they were not a good tackling team, especially in that second half last week. You just got to be honest about it. But look, it's not because they can't tackle; they just did not tackle well. They've got to get back to that.
Mac, I know one big-time bright spot that's been a pleasant thing to see on Sundays, man, and that is Chimray DK on kickoff returns and all the returns that he's at. How exciting is it watching him get the ball in his hand and how much of a threat he can be to set this offense up or even score some point in this season, Coach Mac?
Yeah, and Ramon, the factor of all that is, and you've got to dig a little deeper on it, because you know as well as I do. Look, you played for a lot of years. Anytime you've got a great run on offense, you got to look into the guts of how the blocking was. What everybody did, not only the up front, what the receivers did. You got to look at You got to look at the blocking schemes and see what they're doing now. I think the way these new returns are set up, that a lot of it depends on a lot of things that go on. First of all, you have to have a plan, because it's like a running play now, because everybody's not just running downhill at one another. And what Bones Fossil has done with those guys that are blocking in space and DK, they understand exactly what type of return that they are trying to work on, what they are trying to influence people with, where the break points are. That's what's exciting to me to watch. But DK, I mean, look, you don't have to be a football genius to know one thing. He's a natural with that ball in his hands, and the dude's fast. But I really like the schemes that are getting him open, and I like his mindset because he's a straight-ahead guy. Not the fact that he doesn't have moves, but he understands when to hit the crease, when to put the foot in the ground, and the blockers also understand angles and things that alleys are trying to set up for him, because really a great returner like that, what you're trying to do is just get him past the first wave. And getting past the first wave has a lot to do with the return scheme rather than the returner.
The other thing, too, Coach Mack, is similar as these teams are records, they got a left side of the offensive line that got some issues. The Titans got a right side offensive line, got to get back healthy. Quarterbacks are young. Also, this weekend could come down to kicking. Have you seen the difference in the way they're able to curate these footballs, the distances they're kicking with? Is that something right there, Coach Mack, that we got to keep our eye on as how this teams or other teams have the ability to hit 50-plus yarders like it's a can of corn?
No, you know what? I agree with you, Ramon. I mean, that's changed a lot, from the time that I've been in this league, and especially, kickers are getting better. They really are. It's becoming a skill set. Even when you start looking at the people that are coming up, what they're able to do as far as distance wise. So yes, you're 100% correct. And if you've got somebody, and a lot of teams have got some long distance dudes, especially now the way this new kickoff return rule is, if they don't hit it within the zone and you got it to the 35-yard line, you're not too many successful plays away from getting into the accurate distance of some of these long range kickers. I agree with you. It's kind of changed your mentality too a lot.
Yeah. Coach Mack at Titans Radio, guest this morning on Ramon and Will. Mac, usually by this time of year, as SEC football starts to ramp up a little bit, we sneak in a Vols question or two for you at the end of our conversations with you. As you do coach to coach with Coach Doug Matthews, and I know you watch a ton of football on Saturdays, obviously, as well as Sundays. What have you liked about the Vols so far this season as they now take the show on the road into a hostile environment with a lot of cowbells on Saturday?
Well, they've got their vertical threat game back, and that's huge for this offense. Last year they leaned on an exceptional running game, and this year I think they've got that, but they've got their vertical passing game back, which is, with the numbers plus splits and the way that Josh Heupel runs an offense. You've got to be able sooner or later to win the deep ball. That's a huge part of it, as far as the mentality that you put into a defense that's played against you. And so they've got that back, and that to me is a big part of it. And plus, look now, Ramon knows. He's right there. I have not listened to one television broadcast of the game. I turned the TV down and listened to Ramon and Mike, and they can tell you. But I think that this vertical passing game that they've got is big, because that whole mentality is different, and they're still physical. They still run the football very well. That's what I've noticed. I really, I love watching them play, and I love listening to Ramon and Mike, tell us about what's going on. But I know what I'm seeing. But I think I'm correct, and Ramon, you correct me if I'm wrong, but having that vertical passing game back that's a legitimate threat, because the quarterback's a dealer.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback is a dealer, but you've got young receivers that are really coming into their own. And it's not that they're making just wide open catches. They're making contested catches down the field on these 9 routes, these takeoff routes, which I think is a big, big part of the success. At least it sets up the run game. It sets up a lot of things. And it scores quickly, too. I mean, you look at any of the time of possession, when you really dig into the numbers of those games afterwards, everybody they play has bigger time of possession, but they don't have as many points.
Oh, you're 100% correct, Coach Mack. You put stress on defenses, Coach Mack, knowing that you can go down the field and your quarterback isn't afraid to just put it up for his guys and make plays. You change the mindset, and then you beat them up running the football down the middle, Coach Mack, the way you said. It's
100% right. I like watching it, and I love listening to you guys, so keep it up. I mean, you got to talk loud because there's cowbells, I think, where you're going.
I told our fans to bring their own cowbells, Coach Mack.
I mean, I've never been down there in that environment. I've watched it on television. I've talked, of course, talked to Coach Matthews about it, talked to guys that have played. But they say it's kind of legit down there when they're rocking and rolling with those cowbells.
Yeah, well, we're going to make sure we rock them and they don't roll, Coach Mack. That's what we're going to
I love it. Looking forward to it, Ramon.
No doubt.
Coach Mack at Titans Radio Thursdays at 7:20 here in the show, presented by Two Rivers Ford, Titans and Texans. We will have it for you from Houston on Sunday. I'll see you there, Mac. Thank you, sir.
See you, Mac.
All right, well, see you, Ramon. Good luck. See you guys.
Yes, sir. Coach Mack with us, presented by Two Rivers Ford. It is kind of a different, like buzz, isn't it? In that stadium, like the sound of the cowbell.
It's like cicadas last year.
Yes, it's a perfect way to put it.
It's like cicadas.
I've been twice.
It ain't overly like cymbals, but it's a buzz. Is what it is.
I've been once. I've been one time.
I've only gone once also.
You driving the Natchez Trace down there? That's what we did.
I'm not sure yet. We're going to go the shortest, whatever the shortest distance is.
Well,
I was told not to do the Natchez Trace because I like to speed a little bit.
Oh.
But I'm trying not to get a federal ticket.
I would Tennessee
not.
State troopers are going to be flocking.
No. My trooper friend's going to be all right in this state, all right? I met my guy this weekend. I think his name was Reggie. He's a sheriff in Sumner.
Trooper, hardly know her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my Tennessee troopers going to look out for me. There's some sippy ones that I'm worried about, man, on that federal land they talk about down there. And I got that turbo. Never mind, man. I'm going to be cool.
615-737-1045. Did you hear what Legarius Sneed said about Nico Collins yesterday?
Yeah.
If you weren't listening closely, you would have missed it. We'll play it for you next. Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases, and here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Just imagine lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let high rates hold you back. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, and MLSconsumeraccess.org. Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone, fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. This song is what Legarius Sneed was saying yesterday in the locker room. It's well done by Justin.
Real good, Jayhawk. Real good.
Because when Legarius Sneed was asked about Nico Collins, he essentially started singing that song. Don't tune out, because this audio, you're going to miss it if you're not paying attention. Legarius Sneed, when asked about Nico Collins yesterday.
Nico.
Thank you.
Nico Collins this week. Nico.
Thank you.
He said, who?
He's soft-spoken.
You all right? But it's awkward laughter, media being like, oh, I don't know if you want to do that. Okay. Who else is available in the locker room?
You know what? I love this for Legarius Sneed. For this reason.
Ramon, when you smile and say, I love this for someone, usually it's something that person should not do.
No, because this is I did do this with Dabo
You do
last
this all
week.
the time. When Dabo Sweetie went to the podium pre-loss to Clemson, you stood up and you said, heck yeah. And you went, I love this for Dabo. I love this for Dabo. Well, then what did Dabo do, Ramon? He lost to Syracuse. He got pantsed by Fran Brown, who could shower after the game on his home field because he got his butt kicked.
Yeah.
Don't put that evil on us.
I like a little ratchetness, man. I like a little. I was telling Savage
You know what's
the other
ratchet?
day.
Being 0-3.
Hey,
we don't need any more ratchetness. We're good.
I like
We're
to call
good over
it,
here.
I like to call it good trouble, man. Get in some good trouble.
Is this good trouble?
Yeah.
I think this is just trouble. I don't know. I don't.
Listen. You know, all right. I'm gonna bring it back. I like this for Sneed because you're getting the version of the dog that you're looking for back. Is the way I view this. Is it wrong to give him bulletin board material? Yes. But it also tells me he's getting his confidence back. That he is feeling like him again. Will looking at me with that look like, Ramon, if you don't, man, we can't handle this right now.
You know how I want to hear and see Legarius Sneed's confidence,
Talk to me, Will.
Ramon?
Talk to me.
On the football field.
Listen.
I don't care about hearing about his confidence and hearing about him sounding like himself. I want to see him on the football field look like himself. We have seen flashes. I'm not going to be overly critical on Legarius because there were some plays in the red zone on Devontae Adams where he was solid. It's not been all bad on Sneed. Let's be fair. However, 25.3 yards per catch, 110.8 passer rating allowed. His Pro Football Focus coverage grade is 120th out of 158, Ramon Foster. I don't want to hear confident Legarius Sneed. I want to see confident Legarius Sneed.
You know I'm here for a good time.
Ron Slay in the Evident Bank chat says, see, Will finally figured out that Savage loves chaos. You know what you just did, Ramon? You did what you and Slay do when Eki Bop goes up and talks to a girl at a remote, and you say, yeah,
Bob.
come on,
Bob.
All right,
get in there.
Yeah. Don't belittle him like that.
I'm not. This man calling his shot. Like, you gotta love. No, we talked about it yesterday. They got rid of a dog in Jarvis Brownlee. Sneed said, I'm here. I'm here for this. Absolutely. I love a player that calls his shot. Like, you do got to go back that up, and he did. Who? No, Nico. Who? Nico Collins?
We should make that a drop now.
Ilmaliava.
Anytime we are scouting the opponent now and there's a really good player on the other team, Legarius Sneed's going to give his scouting report. Yeah.
Hey, who?
Will Anderson's a really good edge rusher of that Texans defense. Legarius Sneed, your thoughts?
It's so subtle, too.
No,
and they're probably homies. They're probably real good friends.
In all seriousness, this is what you trade for with Legarius Sneed. This is who he is. And regardless of what he has done over the last year, regardless of how he feels, there is a benefit in all seriousness, as I kind of bring it back a little bit here. You want someone with that level of confidence that is displayed to the other players in the team. You would just also like for that to then be backed up. So, Legarius is going to have to see maybe an even more encouraged version of Nico Collins on Sunday, who, talking to the media in the locker room in Houston, had some expletives in return for Legarius yesterday when he was out there.
Did he? Okay, listen.
That is the environment that Legarius has created with his own words.
I tell you what. I call it last hour. Henry, you looking for an alpha? There he is. Henry.
Right.
There's an alpha for you. Who?
Let's go to Mike Jones on the phones. 615-737-1045. What's up, Mike?
What's up, boys? How are y'all?
We're good.
Good, man. So I was sitting in Nissan Stadium on Sunday, and there was only one thing that I could think of. I felt like I was in the Roman Colosseum in the movie Gladiator. And I'm wondering, I guess Cam Ward would be Maximus, Russell Crowe. I don't know who the guy would be with the thumbs and down. But I do know that Caesar would be Buck Rising. You've kind of got this ornery king, this kind of unpleasable figure, at the booth after asking questions. And is he our Caesar? Would love to hear it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Buck being a king. I ain't had that on my bingo
Does that
card.
make Bert Brutus sometimes? Bertus?
Xerxes is it. Is somebody calling Burke or somebody Xerxes or the king, the young king
doing
who
the
he
thumbs
was?
down.
Thumbs down. Oh, my Lord, man. Listen, we here to be entertained on Sundays. That's all we trying to do. I thought Sunday was... Sunday was bad.
Buck's so negative, he might be more like Nero.
He was first in line at the
Julius
podium,
Caesar.
though. Come on, Buck. Like, I know you petty, but we ain't got to be that petty.
Coming up, Brian Callahan was asked, what have the benefits been to not being the play caller anymore? Have you changed any of your routine? Brian Callahan said yes. We'll tell you what's changed coming up next.
Or let me tell you about advanced hair. Who? All right. Seriously, man. Let's talk about your hair real quick, all right? If y'all are losing it and you desire to have it back, then Advanced Hair Restoration has the easiest guaranteed solution. The simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results. I've seen it with my own eyes, man. And guys, it's not magic, but I promise you it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated doctors, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now. You can call them 629-348-HAIR. And if you qualify, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and they are the team I personally recommend. So don't wait. You can go check out the befores and afters online yourself. The number is 629-348-HAIR. Visit advancedhair.com.